So this is the first chapter of the unit General Physiology, and we will see the overall view of all the systems in the body. So first is the skin. Skin acts as a physical barrier against the entry of microorganisms and other harmful substances. It prevents water loss, contains receptors like touch receptors, heat receptor, and it regulates the body temperature. Then skeletal system, it consists of bones and cartilage. Now two bones, they are joined together by tendons. The muscle system is made up of muscle fibers, and these are skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles. The functional unit of nervous system is neurons, and nervous system will be further divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Now this central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. The PNS consists of all the nerves and ganglion which originate from brain and spinal cord. Now the peripheral nervous system is further divided into autonomic and somatic. Autonomic nervous system is involuntary. That is, it regulates the heartbeat, temperature, etc. And the somatic is voluntary. That is, it controls the movement of limbs, etc. So the cardiovascular system, it consists of heart and blood vessels. So here is the heart, and oxygenated blood, that is blood rich in oxygen, is carried by the arteries. Now these arteries further divide into arterioles. These arterioles further divide into capillaries. At some places capillaries are absent and sinusoids are present. And this is the body tissue. The exchange of material and oxygen takes place between walls of capillaries and body tissue here. Or carbon dioxide is passed on again into the capillaries, and this becomes the impure blood, which is then passed on to venules and veins. This is the vein, these are the venules. Now these veins again transfer the carbon dioxide rich blood into the heart. The respiratory system consists of lungs and the passages which leads the air from the outer environment into the lungs. So these passages are nasal cavity, pharynx, trachea, bronchi. Now bronchi are further divided into bronchioles, which finally lead into the alveoli. Now the digestive system, it includes all the structures concerned with eating, digestion and absorption. So what are the components of digestive system? That is alimentary canal, which includes the oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine, and the associated structures which are liver, gallbladder and pancreas. The excretory system. Excretory system is for the removal of metabolic waste. We have to keep in mind that egestion, that is removal of fecal matter, that is not a part of excretory system, because the food we take in and the food we pass out is not produced by the body. So this is not a part of excretory system. So what are the part of excretory system? That is kidney, ureters, the bladder and urethra. The reproductive system. So these are the male reproductive system and these are the female. Just keep in mind that mammary glands are also a part of female reproductive system. The endocrine gland. So what are endocrine glands? These are a group of cells which form tissues, and these tissues secrete substances which are directly or indirectly released into the blood. So the secretions which are directly released into the blood are ductless, and they are pituitary gland, pineal gland and thyroid gland. Some tissues may also be present inside organs, that is inside pancreas, which of Langerhans. These are also the endocrine glands. Now exocrine glands are ducts like the salivary glands. They release their secretions via a duct. Now blood and immune composition. So blood is a modified connective tissue and the circulating blood contains mainly these type of cells, that is RBC, WBC and platelets. So RBC, we know, the red blood cells which carry the oxygen. WBC is for the protection of our body, and platelets is for. So now the total body water, we know that water is 60% on an average in human body, but in females it is 50% and males it is 60%. In females it is 10% less because of the high amount of adipose tissue in female body. Now the total body water, it is divided into compartments. The two main compartments, that is extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. So this contains 20% of the body water and this contains 40%. Now the further divisions of extracellular fluid is plasma. So what is plasma? It is an intravascular fluid, a liquid portion of blood. Now interstitial fluids. The interstitial fluid is the fluid present in between the cells of tissues. The composition of plasma and interstitial fluid is almost the same, except that the plasma contains proteins and interstitial fluid does not. So we can say that interstitial fluid is ultrafiltrate of plasma. Now transcellular fluid. This fluid is the secretions made by the different organs of body, like the salivary secretions, cerebrospinal fluid, and the vitreous, aqueous humor, etc. Now mesenchymal tissue fluid, this is the water retained in the dense connective tissue, cartilage and bones. This amounts about 6% of body water. The ECF and ICF, these are separated because of the osmotic pressure and the hydrostatic pressure. The body electrolytes, which are again present in different parts, that is the extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. So the main cation in extracellular fluid is sodium, and in intracellular fluid it is potassium and magnesium. The anions are chloride and bicarbonate here, phosphate and proteins in intracellular. The extracellular fluid also contains, extracellular fluid, it surrounds the cell. If this is the cell, then the extracellular fluid will be all around over the cell. So it must contains nutrients for the cell and the excretions of the cell. So it contains non-diffusible proteins, nutrients and metabolites like glucose and urea. So only the exchangeable electrolytes are osmotically active. So the exchangeable pool, potassium, almost all of the body potassium lands in the exchangeable pool. Sodium is 65 to 70% exchangeable, and calcium and magnesium are non-exchangeable. So homeostasis, this word was coined by W.B. Cannon, and homeostasis means maintenance of constant internal environment despite of whatever happening in the external environment. So this homeostasis is able to be maintained because of the function of vascular endothelium, that is, this is some blood vessel and here is its endothelium. So this and the cell membrane. So these two work together to maintain homeostasis. Now the homeostasis is responsible for the transportation of extracellular fluid, pH balance, temperature maintenance, water and electrolyte balance, removal of metabolic wastes, and reproduction is also a part of homeostasis. Mode of action of homeostatic control is divided into two parts: the feedback mechanism and adaptive control mechanism. Feedback mechanism is further divided into negative feedback control and positive feedback control. So negative feedback mechanism, most of the controls of body work on negative feedback mechanism. We can learn this mechanism as if the activity of one particular system of the body is increased, Then this negative feedback mechanism initiates a process which decreases its activity and brings it back to normal. We can say that 1 is happening and 1 is harmful, which initiates 2, and this 2 further stops the activity of 1. We will understand it by an example, that is carbon dioxide. If the concentration of carbon dioxide in ECF is increased, then this increase in carbon dioxide will initiate a negative feedback mechanism, increase the pulmonary ventilation. So when the pulmonary ventilation, that is breathing, is increased, then automatically the level of CO2 will be decreased. Now another example, that is the blood pressure. If the blood pressure is increased, then a series of events will be conducted that will decrease the blood pressure. Positive feedback mechanism is usually fatal. It comes into action in very few cases. If a person has lost 2 liters of blood, then the blood pressure will decrease. This decreased blood pressure will decrease the flow of blood to heart muscles, weakening of the heart. Then the power of pumping of heart will be decreased, which in turn will decrease the blood pressure. So this so happens, if 1 has happened, it cascades the another effect 2, which cascades another effect 3, and this 3 again increases the amount of 1. So this is usually fatal. For a shortcut, we can summarize it as negative feedback is something अगर जो हो रहा है उसका उल्टा बता रहा है, and positive feedback mechanism जो हो रहा है उसी को ही ये बता रहा है. If we see a separate scenario where the person had lost only 1 liter of blood instead of 2 liter, then a negative feedback mechanism will be launched. That is, this negative feedback mechanism will increase the arterial output by increasing the pumping power of heart. In this way, the blood pressure will be restored to normal and the person will live. There are some cases where the positive feedback mechanism can actually be helpful. If a person gets cuts, then the underlying blood vessels will be ruptured. Now this ruptured blood vessels will further accelerate the formation of thrombin. And this thrombin will form a clot that will prevent the blood from flowing. Another example will be childbirth. When the baby starts to push against the wall of cervix, then this pressure further stimulates another action of intense uterine contractions. And when this force is powerful enough, then the baby is born. Next is the adaptive control mechanism. So if such a circumstance comes that a body part has to move very rapidly, then in this rapid movement there is no time for the nerves to collect information from the part, then send it to the brain, and from the brain send it back to that moving part. So in this condition, a muscle where the action is happening is allowed to contract, and this information is later sent to the brain. If this movement was incorrect, then the brain will store the memory and will correct it for the future, so that if again this movement is required, then it has been corrected. If it is incorrect, even the next time it is performed, then again same process is conducted and the brain again corrects the movement. These signals sent by the brain to correct the movement is called the feed forward signals. Feed forward signals. And this mechanism is called the adaptive control mechanism. When we touch a very hot plate, then automatically we leave it.